Something has got to happen because we can no longer go down the path that we're going down. This country won't last another 6 months. This country won't last another 12 months if something doesn't happen. So it's time to flip the switch. It's time to get involved. It's time to move the line forward. And if you're not part of the solution, then you're part of the problem. So I don't care what flip the switch is. I don't care if that means that all of this nonsense is nonsense, or if some of it's true. Oh boy. Sorry about that, folks. Now you can hear me. All right. No headphones, no mic. Um, there you go. All right. Well, welcome, Warriors, World Patriots, and my fellow Americans. My name is Mike. I'm the host of Liberty Warrior. Give me liberty or give me death. When tyranny becomes law, rebellion becomes duty. And tonight, I got a special show for you tonight. We're going to talk about saving the American farmers. And I think it's important for us to have this discussion. I got a video I want to show you guys, and I think it's going to really draw a dark picture at first. But stick with it. It's about 27 minutes long. I don't have my headphones on, so it's kind of hard for me to gauge my volume. I'm used to having the headphones on. So it sounds a little different to me in my ear tonight. But anyway, stick with us. It's about 27 minutes long. And at the end of the video, there is hope. There is light at the end of the tunnel. And I think it has a very profound message that is parallel to the fight that we're in today here in America to save our country. On top of that, Mr. Gates is sick. Say it ain't so. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about some headlines real quick before we watch the video, and then we'll have conversation afterwards. I've been all over Twitter. We're on Twitter right now live, I believe so. So Twitter, welcome any of you guys over there watching this on Twitter. I finally figured that out. I tried to go live on Rumble today. Didn't work out so well. So, last night's show got taken down for obvious reasons. It's all over the internet. It's all over social media. It's all over the news. 2000 Mules, and it's a powerful video. Hopefully you guys have seen it. If you haven't, you can catch it on Rumble. It's on Locals. I know a few of the mods can drop the link for you guys. If you still haven't seen that video, you need to share it out with as many people as you possibly can, but be prepared. If you do, you may be taken down like I was, but that's all right. We're still in the fight. We're not giving up. We're not giving in. We will not surrender. We will not back down. So with that being said, let's hit a couple of the headlines. And let's talk about Mr. Bill Gates. Now, I read an article today and I watched video after video of him putting out for the last almost 2 years how important it was for everybody to take a vacation. And he kept saying over and over and over again, it's for the betterment of humanity. It's for the betterment of just the collective, right? Do this to protect yourself. Do this to protect your parents. Do this to protect your family. Do this to protect your coworkers. This is a guy who doesn't have an MD. He is not a doctor. He is not a scientist, but yet he is known as one of the world's leading health advisors out there. And you got to realize that this guy, his wife, an entire foundation has been experimenting on humanity for decades. They've ran experiments in Afghanistan. They've ran experiments in Africa over and over and over again. And what am I talking about? I'm talking about the vacation. I'm talking about the thing that they pump in your shoulder. They've been doing it for a long time. Now, this guy claims, and I believe he's probably telling the truth for once in his life, that he has been fully vacationed and that he's also had many of the boosters that come along with that. But yet he seems to have caught the sickness. And he's the one that's been going around telling the entire world that this will prevent you from getting sick. The irony in that, isn't there? How crazy is that? The one guy that has pushed this so hard amongst Flip-Flop and Fauci and the rest of them, because they're all in cahoots with one another, he's the guy that gets sick. He's the guy that is the poster child for all of this, him and Fauci alike. So I wanted to bring that up in the headlines today because I thought it was important for you guys to know that that's circulating in the news. And of course, everybody is getting their fun in it, right? They're poking at it, and a lot of laughs going on. But it's just ironic how this is all coming to fruition. It is all the chickens, so to speak, are coming home to roost. So let's talk about a couple of other things that I saw in the headlines before I play this video tonight. Let's talk about what's going on with Roe versus Wade. There's a lot of it's been going on now for roughly about 14 days, but I find it frustrating, to say the least, that the White House and the Biden administration is supporting protesters going to chief justices and the justices of the Supreme Court's houses. Jen Psaki says White House encourages peaceful protesters outside of justices' homes. Now, I reported on this earlier this week. They've got protesters out there outside of their homes. Some of them have actually, it said in this in the article, that they are on the steps of these justices' house. In my opinion, that is trespassing. If they are actually physically on these people's property, it's trespassing. But when has it been okay to leak and release the addresses of Supreme Court justices? Sounds like a play, right? White House Press Secretary Jen Psaki said Tuesday that the Biden administration encourages, quote, peaceful, end quote, protesters outside the homes of the Supreme Justices, despite the fact that such protests aim to intimidate the judiciary and appear to be illegal. Appear to be illegal. Well, let's see. There were Supreme Courts in Florida, and I believe it was New Orleans, that said the mandates were unconstitutional and illegal. And this administration told everybody to continue to pressure their employees to take vacations and to continue the medical tyranny and restrictions. That speaks volumes for this administration, does it not? As Breitbart News reported Saturday, mobs of pro-abortion protesters gathered outside the homes of Supreme Court justices after the leak of a draft majority opinion by Justice Samuel Alito that would reverse Roe versus Wade. Though the protests have been peaceful, they they are virtually unprecedented as a way to pressure the highest court, both directly and personally. Now, what are your guys' thoughts on that? Now, I would say, it's my opinion, that these people are there for one reason and one reason only. They're there to intimidate the justices. They want their way. These are spoiled, rotten people. Little kids throwing a tantrum because they didn't get their way. Just like in 2016, just like in 2020. More of the nonsense. But yet, this administration won't denounce it. This administration is actually stoking the fires. More of their counterparts, like Lori Beetlejuice Lightfoot out of Chicago, the mayor of Chicago, is actually calling for a call to arms. She's wanting people to protest and to get into people's faces and raise hell, to be honest with you. I'm so sick of this administration, folks. I can't tell you how sick to my stomach I am of seeing this man on the television, seeing his wife travel all over the world in his stead, seeing Jen Psaki, seeing Pelosi, seeing all of them. The entire clan of these people. They need to be held accountable for what they've done to America. And as you're going to see in this video with saving the American farms, you're going to see at the very end of the video their strategy. Their strategy for saving the American farmer and for saving America. And I'm telling you, it's everything that we've been preaching here at LWN for almost a year now. Let's hit another headline. Let's talk about inflation. Joe Biden blames everything but himself for inflation in a speech offering no new solutions. Well, is that anything new to us? Let's see, the border crisis, no solutions. Just keep them open. Continue to allow these people to cross our border illegally. Everything this administration is doing and has done is illegal, including November of 2020. Illegal, illegitimate, impotent. President Joe Biden delivered another speech at the White House about inflation on Tuesday, blaming everyone but himself for skyrocketing prices. So he takes no responsibility from day one when he canceled the XL Keystone Pipeline. He takes no responsibility for the crisis at the southern border. He takes no responsibility for high gas prices. The president refused to take responsibility for inflation, urging his trillions in dollars in government spending in 2021 were they were only trying to help the people. 1 trillion in infrastructure, 1.9 trillion in emergency funds. That's almost $3 trillion, folks. That is $3 trillion. I think our policies help, not hurt, he said to the reporters when he was asked to accept responsibility for the problem. The vast majority of the economists think that this is going to be the real tough problem to solve, but it's not because of spending. That's what he said. It's not because of spending. The president spoke as gasoline and diesel prices hit new record highs in the United States this week. Places like New York, New Jersey, over on the East Coast, they're feeling the pain big time. On the West Coast, California, Oregon, Washington. When asked why he thought Americans continued to blame him for the higher prices, Biden acknowledged that the Democrat Party was in power in all three branches of the government, but said that inflation was really complicated. Is it Biden? I believe I could take a 7th or 8th grader and explain economics to them, which by the 7th or 8th grade, they do have a little bit of American economics. There's government involved there, there's history. And I can guarantee you a 7th or 8th grader could figure out what the problem here is in this country and what you did to damage it. Right now, it's confusing. There's a war in the Ukraine, and they're scratching their heads while we're scratching ours, Biden said. Most people, the vast majority of Americans, are hoping that their government just takes care of their problem and they don't have to think about it or deal with it at the kitchen table. So he's saying it right there in his statement. Everybody's relying on the government to fix this for them. We can't do that anymore. I'm going to show you this video, and they're going to tell you at the end of the video, that's no longer an option. We've allowed this to happen for too long. We've sat at the kitchen table. We've watched everything from cartoons to sitcoms to late night shows, and we haven't got involved at our local level. We pretended like none of this was even happening. Last headline, and then I'm going to hit the movie. This one I found very odd and strange too. A box of 104 mail-in ballots discovered on East Hollywood sidewalk. A woman discovered a box of mail-in ballots on an East Hollywood sidewalk over the weekend while walking her dog. Fox News 11 reported on Tuesday. The Los Angeles County Registrar's Office and the United States Postal Service are investigating an incident after Christina Raposi found 104 unopened ballots. She called the whole encounter stressful and told the outlet officials were extremely difficult to get in contact with. So she found these ballots and tried to report them and call in, and nobody was answering the phone. She got the runaround. She reportedly took the ballots home while she tried to figure out who to contact. She said she called several politicians and the LA County Sheriff's Department, who told her it wasn't their problem. Pretty strange, folks. Pretty strange. Here we go. We're on the brink. We're on the brink of the midterms. How come it looks like I lost YouTube? Yeah, did she check to see how they voted? I see that. Why is my YouTube not responding? Are you guys on YouTube? Is everything all right? Because my YouTube is completely froze up. I guess I'll just let it go and continue. We are on the verge of the 2022 midterms, and we're already running into these problems. It's crazy. How can you walk down the street in LA and find a box of ballots? Then we can go to the movie that we were trying to play last night that we got censored for, and all of the midnight runs. Over 2,000 of them. 1,100 just in Philadelphia alone. 500 in Michigan. 200 in Atlanta, Georgia. 200 in Arizona. Are we going to allow this to happen to us again? Because I'm not going to stand for it. I'm not going to sit idly by and allow this to happen again. We got to stand together, folks. And I'm going to play this video because at the end of the video, it's exactly what they're talking about. So let me share screen. Let me know if you guys can hear this. I didn't put my headphones on for a reason so that the volume, you guys could hear it. Let's take a look at this video.
Our operation, and I ran out of time. I was on the truck full time and trying to run 100 head of cows and run the feedlot and doing everything by myself. And
a new report from the CDC says suicide rates among American farmers is higher than any other occupational group.
Oh, geez, over 1,000 acres shy of what I would need to break even for this season. And I was just, I didn't know how the world I was even going to make cash flow this year. And so I was like, I got to figure something out.
According to the U.S. Department of Agriculture, U.S. farmers are struggling financially as well. The average farm's income projected to be about 35% below what it was in 2013.
I was just feeling, honestly, just truly lost, completely lost. I really didn't know what to do.
But at the same time, you knew you were made for bigger and better things.
Markets haven't gotten any better, really haven't changed much.
Last year, more than 2,700 dairy farms went out of business in the U.S.
Spending a lot of time by myself. I'll wake up and he's gone. And
crop prices are down across the board, with dairy in particular facing huge cuts in the price of milk, such that dairy farmers are earning less for their milk than it costs them to produce it. Crunch farmers can't reach the credit that they need to operate their farm, and farmers right now are trying to just make it through another day, and they're not sure if they'll make it through the year.
Many are faced with yet another tough financial forecast as corn and soybean prices remain low, which means less money in farmers' pockets.
So loneliness is for sure a factor. And that's just the reality of the industry.
The U.S. dairy industry is struggling. Profits have been sucked out of producers' operations.
Harvest seasons, I was home handling everything by myself.
low prices are worldwide.
That's just one of the factors why dairy farmers.
We turned onto a video that is bringing attention to the struggles of America's dairy farmers.
We literally work day in and day out, all the time, for nothing. You gain nothing. We gain nothing.
Teeth fried. That's too funny, man. One stoplight.
Where?
Tribune, Kansas. These are my roots. Family still lives here. My sister and brother-in-law farm. My parents live here. My dad works for CHS. My mom works at the courthouse right over there. She's the county clerk there. So the majority of these towns are just going to have one truck stop. That's it.
He's explaining things to us, what he's doing, and I think he just is not going to let it happen to him. He was one that was home with us. He saw the daily struggles that we went through.
Now we're rolling up on the feed yard.
Just being able to organize and kind of be the one in charge meant something to me, and to have that all gone was really hard.
So the tree road we drove today?
Yeah.
It is, even after, it's been 15 years now, but still really emotional.
And I know it was hard for Kevin because he had never had to do that. Work for somebody else or go find a job on his own or whatever.
House, right?
That's the house when we first moved it in out there. Mm-hmm.
So the house that we grew up in, that's what it first was, and then added on over years. In here, because cattle would come in, I'd help push them in, stuff like that. But my granddad started this back in the 1950s with literally a handshake deal with a banker to get a small loan to get started, and built out something that was big. Built out a family operation. Thing is, it was a true family. It wasn't just my granddad. It was his 3 sons, 2 daughters, all involved in the operation. My dad spent 40 years here at the feed yard building this. Guy loved feeding cattle. That's what he loved to do. That's what drove him. There was so much passion and purpose being out here and just living this lifestyle and doing this every day. And that's what he loved.
It was hard for us to lose it, but he was in his 70s when that happened, so it was really hard for him too. It's been a long time, but it's still really emotional. You felt like you sacrificed a lot, and you put in a lot to make the business successful, not only for yourself, but for your family and for the other families who were helping us out there too.
And it wasn't always easy on our relationship either.
So here I am at our old family feed yard. Feed yard that my dad spent 40 years of his life building. And as you can tell, it's all empty. It's a wasteland. It's deserted. It was 2005 when the financial destruction hit this place. My granddad lost a lot of money feeding cattle, fed all of his own cattle. And as most of you know watching this video, that's when volatility started to hit the markets. We started to see a lot more volatility in the prices and everything. Unfortunately, my granddad lost a lot of money, lost a lot of cattle, and that ended up in him losing everything. Ended up in my parents losing everything. I was with them when they had to pack up the house that they raised their entire family in. I was with my parents through their transition over the next 2 years in the dark years. So to start from zero back in the 50s and 60s to grow it to a $10+ million operation to pass away with nothing. I mean, yeah. Following that experience, I did what everybody does, went to college. And after college, I became an ag banker. And I was a loan officer. This was great for me because now I was able to put together the financial piece of why this place went under. The decisions that are being made when it comes to the financial side of these operations, and honestly, the things that are not being said to farmers and ranchers today by the people that are running the finances behind it. There's so many things that aren't being said, brutal truths that need to be said because people need to understand what's at risk. And what I'm showing you behind me and all around this, in this wasteland, this is what's at risk. This is what's at cost for you, losing everything. I witnessed my parents go through the darkest period of their lives. 40 years that my dad worked out here ended up with nothing. All of this. Gone. Because things were not being said. And the bank showed me what happens. Showed me the decisions that are being made, the amount of money that's being put at risk. The things that just aren't being said. I was working with so many clients that were in such tight financial positions. We had record prices in 2012. Everybody's making a pile of money on livestock and grain, and then prices start to roll over. And all of a sudden, people aren't ready for this. They're not prepared for this. And I had so many difficult conversations with clients inside the bank, and these people would sit across my desk as I'd sit there, collect my salary, be safe, be comfortable. And I'd sit there and I'd look at these people, and I would see the same look in their eyes that I saw in my parents' eyes. The fear, the doubt, the confusion on why is this happening to me? I've been doing this for years, for decades. Why is this happening to me? And it got to a point where I was done. I couldn't do it anymore because I wasn't solving the problem in there. I wasn't even helping the problem. Again, there were things that needed to be said. There's stuff that needs to happen. And the reality is, if we don't start talking about the real things, if you do not start facing the hard truths inside of your life, inside of your operation, inside of your business, and just inside of doing things the same way you've always done them, if you don't start changing, this is what you have coming for you. This isn't a joke. This is people's lives. This is decades of hard work out here. This is generations of families that won't get to take over the family farm operation, won't get to experience this lifestyle. My kids will never get to know this because of the decisions that are made.
My wife and I, we have a small family, 3 boys, and we have a small operation, run 30 cows. And I work outside of the farm. My wife works outside of the farm. And we have a small sale every year, but just mainly it was cash flow. It just seemed like we were always spinning our wheels. We were just stagnant. Nothing was happening. And looking at your program, we seen it online and looked into it, talked to you a few times, and finally it just came to fruition that needed to do something. I guess I just got tired of sitting idle, is what I pretty much felt like.
So right now, if you're resonating with this, if this message is hitting home with you, then most likely you're in a position where you're either ready to burn stuff down because you're too stressed out, the emotions are too high, the financial risk is too high, the family life and every dynamic that you're dealing with is too stressful on you. I get it. Or you're in a position where you're just losing your rear end financially, losing money year after year after year. You just see equity getting eaten away off your balance sheet. Your banker just terming out your losses again and again and again. And I share all of this with you because this is what's going to come for you. If you don't start changing things, like this is the reality coming for you. It will not be good. It will not be easy. You will go through some of the deepest, darkest pits you've ever been in, and I witnessed that. I felt that. I was with my parents when they went through that. My dad ran this operation for 30 years, 15 to 20 employees, running a multi-million-dollar operation to losing it all 2 weeks later driving trash truck for the local county. Like, that's a darkness that you really don't want to experience. That's an identity that leaves a man. Now that I've gotten older, I really understand it. And the weight that he felt. Not only did he let himself down, but he let his wife and children down too. Not because he wanted to. It's just the reality of the world that we live in. And this is what's coming for you. If you don't just change things. If you don't open up your mind.
Just do it. Take the leap of faith.
Yeah.
It was like, oh, but I don't regret it one bit. That it will be well worth it because in the end, it is. I mean, we find other ways to pay for things we don't need. And I feel like everyone needs this. Any farmer, rancher, they need this just to put their life in perspective of what it could really be.
Yeah.
I mean, I just felt the confidence boost and, and just the knowledge that I'd gained joining your group to make the decisions to move forward and to start really scaling our operation and building the type of operation we want to have.
But watching his confidence grow and watching him be like, yeah, I can do this. These are products that I believe in. These are things that I know that people out here need. And now I have the tools to help me learn how to get my message out there and how to not only better their operation, but at the same time, I'm earning a better living for my family as well.
Losing ground year after year. The bank is owning more and more of everything you have year after year, and you will end up walking away with nothing if you do not shift the way that you operate on a day-to-day basis and the actions that you're taking and just the way that you do things.
I get home in the evening and I can spend a few hours with them and we eat dinner as a family now. And
it's really made our connection together a lot stronger.
Our relationship together is the last 3.5 months or whatever it's been, I think is a lot better than what it was before. With the kids, I mean, everything.
Join. It's the best thing that we've ever done. I mean, it's helped us around all the way around. I mean, even personally, I think even our marriage, I think we do this together as a team. You know, we're on the same page for everything. The business, it's the best thing we've done.
I would recommend it to anybody. If there's one thing, it's the ability to think, the ability to take action, and the confidence to get out and do it. I'd pay twice as much money for anything in the program to have access to what we have access to.
We're just so thankful that Jace has gone through what he has, and he's now willing to walk the walk and put it out there for other people to try and make their own way and make their own lives better so that those that come behind them can have something to be proud of and to build on. It's life-changing.
You know, there's a reason that this video has come across you, you are searching or looking to make some changes, and it's the real deal. Not only is it going to give you tools for your family, it's going to give you tools to grow your business and to grow as a couple, to grow individually. And if you're looking for something, this is the thing. Me and my husband did the same thing for 10 years. And when we found this, we were like, should we, shouldn't we? And as soon as we dove in, we have never looked back. We have never questioned. This investment has paid us back, I would say, tenfold this winter alone.
So you see how simple it is to connect with our community. Now we have our own network, 170 plus farmers and ranchers inside of it, from all across the U.S. Everybody dealing with the same things, everybody coming together and talking about the real problems, the real challenges, getting clear on what exactly worked inside of their operation for the week and getting clear on where they're going forward in the following week, asking questions, looking for things, talking about real conversations and real challenges and real problems they're dealing with family and on the operation. And then finally coming to a place where they can actually talk about the real shit that nobody else wants to talk about around them. Inside of our network, everybody working as one. This is how simple it is. Everybody rolling down the road inside of your truck and just being able to hop on and connect with other like-minded people and talk about real things, real problems, and real challenges that you're facing on a day-to-day basis. And getting honest feedback and clarity on how to solve them and how to keep moving forward. Because you and I both know what the cost is if you don't start taking actionable steps forward that produce the results that you want.
People that have grown up on the farms.
It's in them.
Like that's just what they, from the very beginning, that's what they're doing.
So when I say that they'll go until the end, they will go until the end. If you don't surround yourself with people that are talking about the real problems that you face on a day-to-day basis inside your personal life and business life. I understand that we were taught, trained, and conditioned to keep them separate. You and I both know that doesn't exist. Problems in the personal life bleed into the business life. It's inarguable. So farmers needed a path. They needed a gateway. They needed a place to talk about the truth. They needed a place where somebody would be brutally honest with them and not sugarcoat everything like they're getting from everybody in their community. Because nobody wants to make you feel bad. I'm not here to make you feel bad. I'm here to awaken you, to make you aware of what's to come, because things don't change. If you continue doing the same thing year after year after year, expecting different results, it doesn't happen. It doesn't exist. You have to change. You have to adapt. You have to do these things. And inside a legacy farmer, that's what we're doing.
$1 million, that's half of what it was back in 2013.
Don't just take my word for it. There's over 170 farmers and ranchers from all across the U.S. inside of our network, working together, collaborating, moving forward as one and solving these problems. Because I've made it aware to them. They're clear what's going to happen to everything they've built, the decades of work, the years of sacrifice, the fights, the arguments, the financial risks, the sleepless nights, everything. They're very clear. And they're very awakened on what's going to happen if they don't change, which is exactly why they're inside a legacy farmer. I'm excited to hear more about you. I'm excited to hear about your operation, your family. I'm excited just to get to know you. But ultimately, the biggest thing that I'm excited about is the decision that you make. Whether or not you're making the decision and the commitment to start changing things, to start doing things differently, to change everything about everything you were taught to believe growing up, because that's the shifts that we're making. People are transforming inside of our network. They're transforming how they operate on a day-to-day basis. They're transforming their relationships with their families. And ultimately, they're doing what we're all here for, which is to build the legacy that they want, the real one that can't be taken away from you because of things that you don't control, like the weather, like the government, like prices. People are taking control. And then we're providing the training, the framework, the accountability, and the clarity of the step-by-step process they have to go through to get to where they want to go. Control and protection. That's all we're talking about. And that's what we all want. Because everything that you and I do is for the generations that follow. Let's not forget that.
I guess to really know their business and to stay in touch with what's going on, especially on the financial end of it.
And the hardest part to face is that, my kids will never get to enjoy this. My nephews will never get to enjoy this. My nieces will never get to experience this. And these were a lot of the fun years of my life just being raised on the farm. Really, it's pretty hard looking at it and seeing it amount to nothing. Because it was a lot more than just money that went into it. Like, there was a lot of pride, the work, the decades, just commitment, man. And a lot of people, they don't have it. But you do. That's why you're watching this. That's why you connect with all this. I get it. Like, you understand what's at risk. You understand the amount of work it takes to create this and to build this lifestyle that you want for you and the kids going forward and the generations going forward. I get it. Like, that's probably what I missed the most about all this. Because it was real. It was fun. It was good times. But God obviously had a different plan for us. And a different plan for me. And maybe it was His purpose or His plan to make it my purpose to awaken you, to share the story, to share what's going to happen, to share what could happen to you if things just don't start changing. Because all the family memories, all the real stuff that you're building, what you're building for, the years of work ethic that you're putting into this, like the real stuff, not just the ego of having a big operation and I farm X amount of acres, but because you want to leave it. You want to build something that the next generation can take over, that they can feel the pride that you have. And just be proud too. A lot of what you're doing right now, you're doing it because, one, you want your parents to be proud of you, but two, when your kids take it over, you want them to be the ones saying, yeah, my parents built this, my dad built this. Like, let's be honest, that's what really drives you. That's what drives me. I don't care what business you're in. If you're an entrepreneur just trying to build your own thing and you're taking all the risk, you're working just a relentless number of hours and endless number of hours. Like, you're doing it because of that. And I get it. And I understand it. My dad did the same thing. I'm doing the same thing for my kids. And the thing is right now you have the opportunity to leave something like this behind. My opportunity already left me.
All right, folks, that is saving the American farmers. The reason why I showed that video to you because, well, there's a lot to think about, and there's a lot of parallels in what they had to say about saving farming, just like we talk about saving in America. Just for 1 minute, and maybe some of you know this, maybe some of you don't. Bill Gates owns the most land in the United States. Did you guys know that? Were you guys aware of that? Bill Gates has bought up farmland all over the entire country. That's a big deal. Why is Bill Gates buying up farmland? Well, think about it for just 1 minute. They run these farmers into the ground. They manipulate the market. They crash the market. Fuel prices are going up. I have friends, Skip is here watching tonight probably, who has a small ranch, and feed for his cattle is going up. They're not sure that they can feed the cows this fall, feed the cows through the winter. This is all by design. Control the food, control the people, right? Bill Gates buying up this country, BlackRock's buying it up, Vanguard's buying it up, the banks are buying it up, bankrupting the farmers. You see farmers selling out all the time to development. They get their money and they get out. Do you blame them? When you're going in the hole year after year, running in the red, and a developer comes up to you and says, hey, I give you $1 million for that 100 acres. I want to turn it into 100 homes. America's farmland is shrinking by the day, by the hour. The American farmer is the backbone of America. If we're not careful, folks, we're going to lose everything too. If we're not careful, the generations behind us will never know what America really was. And for some of us at age 47, that's how old I am, it's hard to even recognize what America is anymore. With all the transgender this, the transgender that, the LGBTQ, Disney this and Disney that, people attacking Supreme Court justices, people attacking police officers, open borders, millions and millions of illegal aliens crossing our border every year, inflation skyrocketing, sickness restrictions and medical tyranny, censorship on YouTube and all the other platforms out there of your conservative voice. It's really hard to recognize America anymore. I took a lot of notes through that video because I think what he had to say was very important. Yes, it was a commercial. It was a documentary for legacy farming. I realized that. I seen it. But I thought it had a very powerful message, and I'm going to get to that here in just a minute. We've been afraid for so long to say the things that need to be said. Just like he said, so many farmers were never told the truth. So many farmers got led astray. And I think that's wrong. What's wrong with America? Everybody was afraid of mean tweets from that orange guy. Everybody was afraid of being politically incorrect. Everyone was afraid of hurting somebody's sensitive feelings. And that's all played a part into where we've become as America. The greatest generation on earth. World War II vets, our grandfathers, our grandmothers, our great aunts, and our great uncles. They weren't those people. They were the people that protected America. They are the people that fought for America. They are the ones who built America. And it's our generation that's letting it slip. We've lived in fear for too long. We've doubted ourselves for too long. We've allowed them to teach us and indoctrinate us through schools and colleges, through lamestream media, video games, and TV shows. We've allowed them to weaken us. And it's time for us to face the hard facts. It's time for us to face the hard truths. We know what happened on November of 2020. We seen 2,000 mules come out. We knew it was all true before the video, but now we have the proof. We have to change, folks. Like the farmer, we can't continue to run year after year doing the same thing and expecting a different result. We have to change the way we think. We have to change the way we communicate. We have to change everything about this American dream and not allow them to erase us. I'm tired of doing nothing. And I know there are a lot of you out there listening tonight that are tired of doing nothing. It's time for all of us to take that leap of faith. I took mine a year ago. A lot of you took that leap of faith with me. There are some of you who are just now coming to LWN, maybe through Twitter, maybe through Truth Social, maybe through Frank's speech. Maybe some of you have never heard us here before. I'm asking you tonight. Take that leap of faith. Join and unite in this patriot movement to take America back. It's time that we put away all these foolish, childish games of picking on one another and tearing one another down, focusing on each other's differences instead of focusing on our strengths. We're not all alike. God didn't make us that way. He made us to become individuals. But one individual is not as strong as many. It's time for us to team up. It's time for us to stand up. It's time to take action today. We can't wait any longer. I remember a specific part of Rocky 3. I probably shared this with you guys before. Rocky had doubts. They were in Los Angeles training for the rematch with Mr. T. Apollo Creed became his coach, his mentor. And at one point, Rocky was ready to just give up. He didn't want it anymore. It's so cliche with the movie, but he didn't have the eye of the tiger anymore. He wasn't hungry for it. Apollo kept saying over and over again, and all I can hear is that same phrase ringing in my head. There is no tomorrow. There is no tomorrow. If we don't do something today, there is no tomorrow. But God's got a plan. He's got a plan for you. He's got a plan for me. We're all here together. Just like the video, the farmers found that video that needed to find it. Those of you found us because you needed to hear it. It's time to stand up and walk the walk and quit just talking the talk. We can't be just keyboard warriors any longer. We need to network. We need to communicate. We need to connect. Why do you think for the last 2 years they've wanted all of us to stay 6 feet apart? They didn't want us to hug. They didn't want us to high five. They didn't want us to handshake. They didn't want us to get together and talk about solutions to solve problems. They wanted us to live in fear. Are you going to continue to live in fear? Are you going to continue to buy the narrative? Working as one is the only option that we have. Working as one, united as one loud and unified voice. And it's time to hold our officials, our politicians accountable. It's time for us to go all in and tell our politicians that we are not going to stop until this is all over with. We will stay until the end. Like he said, there are farmers in his group that will stay until the end. The Sunshine Warriors Day is over. There will be cloudy days. There will be rain. But we have to stay the course. LWN is here to awaken you. Just like he said, he was there to awaken the farmers. I'm here to shake you. I'm here to wake you up and say, listen, we have one shot at this, one opportunity. First, put your faith in God. Pray. Have a relationship with him. Second, you have to find like-minded people like we are here at LWN, and you have to start connecting and uniting, working together to make a difference. And don't forget, folks, we're doing all this for our children. We're doing all this for our grandchildren, for the next generation and the generation after. I said this about a year ago on one of the very first videos I ever did. It was within the first week that it was just a man on a laptop. I got pretty emotional. I looked in the camera and I said, can you look your kids in the eye? Can you look your grandchildren in the eye and tell them that you stood by and did nothing when America needed you most? That's all for tonight, folks. Love y'all. Have a great night. I'll see you back here tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time for devotions. God bless. Hope you enjoyed the show.
Hoping for a sincere performance, but open to finding the moment, to finding out where I'm headed now. Looking for a sign of disaster, so I can make it there faster. I'm weighing the consequences out. I can see in all directions. It's all open to interpretation, but I see colors that are breaking from the other side, the other side. When I make mountains out of summer trails, when I buckle under all the details, I'll to get me. I see the river on the back